Hello dear class 2 students, welcome back. So today we will discuss about lesson 10 EVS, and the name of the lesson would be safety rules. So you can all turn to page 58, okay? So let's get started. So today after this lesson, you will learn about safety on the road, okay? Safety on the road. So here we can see roads here, we can see cars, we can see buildings here. So we'll learn about safety on the road. The next thing we are going to learn is safety at home, okay? Safety at home. Now students, these days we hear a lot about accidents, many accidents, right? Every day in news we hear about many people getting seriously injured, right? Many people they are injured and they get accidents after accidents, right? But students, the good thing is we can avoid all these accidents, okay? By obeying the rules, and that is a safety rule, okay? So first we will discuss about safety on the road. Now students, we see all these vehicles, all these cars in the road, right? Every day we see a busy road. Now here, over here, we can see a bus. So this type is called bus, okay? B-U-S. Here we can see cars. We see different type of cars here. And we see trucks, okay? Trucks. T-R-U-C-K, truck. And here, bicycle. How many of you like riding a bicycle? I like riding a bicycle. Okay, and here we have a scooter, okay? A scooter. It's a two-wheeler, okay? So students, we see all these different types of cars, two-wheelers in the road. Now students, one thing here we have to be careful is, the first rule is we should never play on the road. Okay students, do not play on the road. Now what we can see here students is there are some of your friends here, they are playing on the road. Now it can be very dangerous students. Now just now I have shown you different cars, right? So anytime if you play in the road, anytime a car can hit you. So students, if you want to play, you have to play in an open ground, okay? We have a free spaces, right? So we should play on the open ground. And in case if you have a big surrounding, you can play from there, okay? So we should never play on the road. So this is the first safety rule, okay? This is the first safety rule. Now we should never play on the road. Now students, again, every day, like we have to go to a shop or we have to go to market, right? Or we go to our friend's place, then we have to cross the road, right? And students, one thing we should remember is we should never run. Neither we should push each other, okay? Because students, like I have said, there are many cars. And then anytime any car can hit you. So students, prevention is better, right? Okay, now we'll learn about the second safety rule. So are you ready? Okay, always walk on the footpath. Whenever you are walking in the road, always walk on the sideways or always walk on the footpath. Now you can see these two ladies here. They are walking on the footpath. Now over here you can see a busy road. We can see many cars here. Okay, so students, you should always remember to walk on the footpath, not on the main road. because it can be dangerous. Okay? Okay, now students, the third safety rule. Okay, the third safety rule. That is, use the zebra crossing. Use the zebra crossing. Now I'll explain. Now students, let me give you a good example. Suppose you are walking on the, okay, suppose you are walking this side, okay, this side of the road, this sideways. Now there is a ice cream shop here, over here on the opposite side, okay? So you are on the left side, and on the right side there is an ice cream shop. And who don't like ice cream, right? We all like ice cream of different flavor, right? So you want to go get that ice cream, want to go buy an ice cream. Then what you have to do, students? We have to cross the road, right? We have to cross this main road. Then students, always remember, use the zebra crossing. You can see here, right? So remember, use the zebra crossing. Or students, if you have to cross the road, what you have to do or what you can do is you can look to the right, look to the left, and if you don't see any car, you can cross. Okay? So students, we should be very careful. Okay? And prevention is better. Okay? Now students, we can avoid all this accident. We can avoid all these injuries by applying all these safety rules. Okay? Now, let's learn about our fourth safety rule. Okay? So that is, do not lean out of a bus. Now we can see some people here, they're traveling, like this is a bus, okay? And we all like to travel in a bus, right? Let's say some of you go to a school, like, and your school is a little far from your house, so you take bus, right? And some of you, maybe for traveling from one place to another, you take bus, right? Then it is fun, okay? But students, one thing we should remember is we should never lean out of a bus. Now you can check this picture, okay? You can check here, students. So what these people are doing, they are leaning out of a bus. So students, it is a bad habit, okay? And it is very dangerous. So far, students, I have shown you that in a busy road, there are many cars. There are different types of cars. So now, suppose this is your bus. And if you are leaning out here, outside, you are enjoying the view. But if suddenly truck or another big bus come by, then you'll get injured, right? So students, we should be very careful. We should take care of our health, of our body, okay? And we can prevent all these accidents. We can prevent all this injury, okay, by applying all these safety rules. So students, we have learned 4 safety rules, right? So let's recall them. So the fourth one that we study is, do not lean out of a bus, right? Now the third safety rule we have studied is, always we have to use the zebra crossing, right? And the second one is, always walk on the footpath. Now, the first one is, we should never play on the road. If we want to play, because we all like to play, right? We all like to have fun. Then we should play on in an open space. Okay? So now we will learn about safety at home. Now students, a home is a place where we get that comfort, right? What comes to your mind, my dear class 2 students, when I say home? Okay, family comes to your mind, right? My parents, my siblings comes to your mind, right? Now, uh, a house is a place where we get love, we get that comfort, right? We get shelter, right? But students, there are many things we should keep in mind, and we should be careful at home. Because students, recently there are many news about many children your age. They are getting injured. They are getting seriously injured at home. So students, this is very important. Okay, so we will learn about some precautionary measures we have to take at home. We'll learn about the safety rules at home. Okay, so students, now what is this? This is a fire, right? Now we all make fire at home for cooking, right? And also during winter, when it's very cold, we have to keep our body warm, right, my dear students? So in order to do that, we make fire. But students, this fire is helpful to us in many ways. But at the same time, it can be very dangerous. Okay, dear students? So students, we should never play with this fire. Okay? We should never play with this fire. And if you are wearing a nylon clothes, now students, I have already explained about the clothes we wear, different types of clothes we wear in our previous chapter, right? So students, if you are wearing a nylon clothes, we should be very careful. Okay? We should be very careful in front of the fire. Now, it's a true story. It is a very true story. But a children your age, okay? It's your age, maybe 7, 8 years. He was feeling very cold, okay? So he was standing near the fire and he was wearing a light nylon clothes. And students, he was not aware, okay? But he got seriously injured. Now he is in hospital. So students, the good news is you and I can avoid from all these injuries, from all these accidents, okay? So students, let's remember, okay? Let's remember this. We will not play with fire. Okay. Next thing is, all the sharp objects. Are you familiar with all these sharp objects, my dear students? Okay. Now this is over here. This is a knife. Okay? This is a knife. Now let's spell this together, okay? It is K N I F E. Now over here it is a scissor, okay? So let's spell this together, okay? SCISSOR. And over here, the last one here, it is a blade. BLADE. Now students, we are all familiar with all these three sharp objects that we see here, right? So students, we should never play with knife, blade, or scissors. Now this one, knife, we commonly see this knife in kitchen, right students? Okay, so we use knife for cutting vegetables, fruits, right? And many things. But students, we should, okay, suppose if you are very hungry and you want to eat a vegetable, so you need a knife to cut the fruits, okay, to cut the fruits. Then what you will do, you can take help of any elders at home, okay. Now why I'm mentioning vegetables, because some vegetables we can eat raw, okay, some again we have to cook and eat. But in every cases, in all these cases, we use knife, right? So you take the help of the elders. And students, if you see anyone, okay, if you see anyone, if they are cutting, if you are cutting vegetables or fruits with this knife, and they are not concentrating on what they are doing, then you should alert them, okay? Not only saving yourself, but you can also save others' life, okay. Suppose there's let's say your brother or your sibling, now they're cutting fruits, and at the same time they're also watching their favorite TV show. So their eyes is focused on the TV show, but their hand, they are cutting fruits. Then students, what you have to say? So that is a time where you have to alert your brother or your sister to concentrate and focus on what they are doing, because it can be dangerous, right? They'll get injury, okay. Now students, likewise scissor is used for cutting papers, any materials, objects like that. So if you have to use this scissor, take the help of any elders, okay. And over here, this is a very sharp object, okay. So you should never play with all these sharp objects. Now students, we are done with this. Now next safety rule which we should remember, very important, it is we should never touch electric wires, okay. Dear class 2 students, we are all dependent on electrical appliance at home, right? Now from the TV, from the television, from TV to your refrigerator or your parent's cell phone or anything, okay, we are dependent on electrical appliance. So these are all common things you see at home, but we should be very careful. Now, one thing you should remember is, dear students, you should never play with all these electric wires. And second thing, students, you should never touch all these plug, switch, electrical wires with your wet hands, okay, wet hands. If your hand is wet, you will get injuries, okay. So students, we should be very careful. So now, I know students, dear students, class 2 students, you have understood all the points and you will now apply this in your daily life, right? So students, see here, if you touch this plug or electrical switch with your wet hand, it can catch fire like this, okay. So students, we should be very careful with all these electrical wires. So that comes to the end of our chapter. Now, it's a fun time, okay? So now everyone take your pencil and you have to draw a famous Naga Dao, okay? Naga Dao, Dao, okay? Dao means it's a knife, a bigger knife, okay? And color it. So do you know what is a Naga Dao? I will show you here. So this is a Naga Dao. So students, you can draw this Naga Dao and you can color it, okay? So that comes to the end of this chapter. Thank you so much, students.